Good afternoon and welcome to the Office of Tax Appeals, or OTA. My name is Stephen Kim, and I am the lead administrative law judge, or ALJ, for this oral hearing in the appeal of G. Brenner. A stenographer, Ms. Alonzo, is present and reporting this hearing verbatim. To ensure we have an accurate record, everyone should speak clearly and one at a time. Please avoid speaking over one another, and if needed, Ms. Alonzo or I or any panel member will interject to ensure we have proper transcription. After the hearing, Ms. Alonzo will produce the official hearing transcript, which will be available on OTA's website. OTA is not a court. OTA is an independent and impartial appeals body staffed by subject matter experts. OTA is separate from any tax agency, including respondent, the Franchise Tax Board. While OTA is not a court, we must still follow certain guidelines to conduct an orderly hearing and establish a proper record on which the opinion will be based. Each party will have the opportunity to be heard, so please wait for your turn to make your presentation. And please refrain from interrupting the other party's presentation. As the lead ALJ, part of my role is to keep the hearing on track, so I may interrupt if we become counterproductive. Before we go on the record, appellant, do you have any questions about anything I just said?
None.
And respondent, FTB, do you have any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is everyone ready to proceed? Judge Stanley? Yes. Hearing Officer Elsom?
I'm ready.
And Ms. Alonzo, are you ready? Okay, we are going on the record. This is the appeal of G. Brenner, OTA case number 2405-16155. The date is Wednesday, September 10th, 2025, and the time is 1:10 p.m. This hearing is being held in person in Cerritos, California. I am Judge Stephen Kim. I will be the lead ALJ for the purpose of conducting this hearing. My co-panelists, Judge Teresa Stanley and Hearing Officer Seth Elsom, and I are equal participants in deliberating and determining the outcome of this appeal. Parties, could you please state your name, who you represent, and your title, starting with appellant?
My name is George Simpson. I'm a CPA, and I'm representing Gil Brenner.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. And for respondent, FTB?
This is Vivian Ho for Franchise Tax Board.
This is Amelia Breen, also for the Franchise Tax Board.
Thank you. As stated in my pre-hearing conference minutes and orders, the issue to be decided in this appeal is whether the estimated tax penalty for the 2019 tax year should be abated. Mr. Simpson, do you agree that this is the issue on appeal?
Yes.
And Ms. Ho, do you agree?
Yes.
Thank you. FTB submitted exhibits A through G, and appellant did not object to the admissibility of these exhibits. Therefore, exhibits A through G are now admitted into evidence. And appellant submitted some documents that are already included in FTB's exhibits. Appellant did not submit any additional exhibits. Neither party intends to call any witnesses for the oral hearing. Is that still correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Mr. Simpson, you will have 10 minutes for your presentation, and you may begin when you're ready.
Gil Brenner came to me or his family did, for 2018 tax return. One of the reasons is the family was going to sell their business that was going to have a substantial amount of profit.
Mr. Simpson, can you pull the microphone a little closer?
Is this better? Is this better? Okay. We'll start back. It started in the year 2018 when the Brenner family was going to sell their family business that had a substantial profit, of which Gil Brenner was going to have a share of. In preparing to go forward to 2019, in my looking at the underpayment.
Sorry, Mr. Simpson, to interrupt, but I think maybe both of the mics might be on your table. Sorry, could you just check that one?
Sorry.
Thank you. Sorry, no, there was an echo, I think. So.
Okay. And we thought we made him penalty proof. I prepared the 2019 tax return that he had a balance of approximately $140,000 that was due to the Franchise Tax Board. In 2018, Mr. Brenner filed a joint return with his wife, and the following year he was divorced. When I prepared the tax return, I had asked him if it was the same bank account number because we were going to have the monies transferred or directly come out of the bank, and he said it was. Later on, we discovered it was his ex-wife's bank account, and she was not overly happy to have $140,000 come out. When it was discovered, we went online and it was paid, and because it was a COVID year, we had to July 15th to pay it, and it was paid on time. He then subsequently received a notice from the Franchise Tax Board regarding the penalty that we're talking about. I have responded to the Franchise Tax Board on 5 different letters. We never received any communication from them regarding the issue that they would discuss it. We submitted the form. Was it the 5305? 5805. After we discovered, yes, there was. We did not realize it was over 150,000, or that the income was going to be over $1 million. So that was an error on my part. But we submitted a Form 5805 that the penalty only ended up being approximately $1,800. I have no idea whether the Franchise Tax Board ever adjusted it for any of those letters because we received no communication. So we ended up, everything was paid. He is current. All the penalties and interest have been paid. He got charged different fees from the bank for the bounce check. But the big thing was the penalty, and that's what I asked the Franchise Tax Board, taking everything into consideration, if they would abate the penalty. We were never going to argue the interest portion of it, but if the penalty was abated, the interest. But as I said, we sent 5 different letters starting in 2020, and there was never received any response. We tried to call the Franchise Tax Board, get on hold, get hung up on. So we tried to communicate with them, and it wasn't. So I did not want to go to appeals, but the amount was a significant amount. And I have actually reimbursed Mr. Brenner for the penalty, so I am talking here to save my money. So that is what I have.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. I'm going to see if my co-panelists have any questions. Judge Stanley?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Hearing Officer Elson?
Can you explain again, are you arguing for a potential recalculation of the penalty, even if it is not fully abated?
That is correct, too.
And then can you direct us in the record to where you have a calculation for that, or?
There should be a Form 5805 in my documents. And it's coming down that I'm looking for the and being old as I am, I went and left all my original documents at the office.
If it helps, Mr. Simpson, we do have that in our record.
Okay, yeah, it's $1,692 is the penalty calculated on the 5805.
Okay, and this is based on the payments that you did make?
Right, because the sale, well, that and for the fact the sale ended up in the fourth quarter of the 2019 year.
Okay.
So doing that calculation based on when the income came in.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, just give me a minute here. So you said that the income came in the fourth quarter of 2019?
2019.
Um,
He was current on his estimated tax payments on the liability for the three-fourths of the year.
Okay. Did you use the annualized income installment method?
Yes, I did.
Okay. The form that you submitted, it indicates no to whether you used that?
Okay, I have a different one that has numbers filled in, and that's, do you have the one that showed the 1692?
The form 5805?
5805.
I'm not seeing it.
Okay.
Copound, are you seeing it in the file?
Trying to see when.
Okay, I don't know if we have that one in the file, but perhaps you may have an opportunity to submit that after the hearing.
Okay. I was seeing if it was. Okay, I see a copy on it.
Okay, well, let's
Yeah.
move on for now, and then perhaps FTB will address that in their presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Ho, you'll have 10 minutes for your presentation, and you may proceed when you're ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Vivian Ho. I, along with my co-counsel, Amelia Breen, represent respondent, the Franchise Tax Board. The issues presented before you today are whether the estimated tax penalty was correctly imposed and whether appellant established grounds for abatement of the penalty. Because appellant failed to make the required estimated tax payments by the due dates, the estimated tax penalty was correctly imposed. For taxpayers with income of over $150,000, a taxpayer must either make estimated tax payments during the year that either total 90% or more of the year at issue's liability, or 110% or more of the preceding year's liability. However, for taxpayers with income of over $1 million, paying 110% of the preceding year's liability does not apply to satisfy the taxpayer's estimated tax obligations. Appellant's income for the tax year in question is over $1 million, and as such, appellant must use the year at issue's liability for calculation of his estimated tax obligations. Appellant's estimated tax payments falls substantially short of the required 90% of the year at issue's liability, and as such, the estimated tax penalty was correctly imposed. In his presentation, appellant references Form 5805, which appellant completed using his prior year income. Appellant has submitted several Form 5805. Several of them appears to be the same documents that was submitted on several occasions, but FTB will also confirm with its records whether there is a form with the figures referenced by appellant. Appellant argues he qualifies to use prior year income to calculate his estimated tax obligations despite having income of over $1 million, which is his position in all of his Form 5805s as based on FDB's review of the record. To support his position, appellant cites to FDB's instructions for the form, and as discussed in FDB's opening brief, appellant misinterpreted the FDB form instructions, and the instructions do not support appellant's claim that he is allowed to use the preceding year's income for calculation of whether he satisfied his estimated tax obligations. Moreover, the form instructions are not binding legal authority, and appellant may not rely on them for his position. As such, appellant has not established the estimated tax penalty was incorrectly imposed. Regarding penalty abatement, appellant has not established grounds for abatement. The law does not provide for a reasonable cause basis for abatement of the estimated tax penalty. The penalty may only be waived if appellant shows by reason of casualty, disaster, or other unusual circumstances that the imposition of the penalty will be against equity and good conscience. The OTA has held in the Presidential Opinion of Appeal of Saltzman that the phrase casualty, disaster, or other unusual circumstances generally refers to unexpected events that cause a loss or hardship. Appellant appears to raise grounds that he misinterpreted his tax obligation, and also appears to raise grounds that he relied on a tax professional. However, as previously stated, there is no reasonable cause basis for abatement, and appellant has not demonstrated there is reason of casualty, disaster, or other unusual circumstances for waiver. As such, FDB respectfully requests the OTA sustain FDB's determination and deny appellant's claim for refund. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Simpson, I just wanted to clarify your arguments on appeal. Are you still arguing that the safe harbor applies?
No, and I stated that earlier.
Okay, just to clarify. So you're saying that the penalty amount should be recalculated?
Recalculated, and I was asking for abatement. And I don't know if COVID is a disaster, but for the fact that it changed filing dates and changed our country, COVID was 2019, I believe, was the original COVID year. So we could claim, yes, there was a disaster of national proportions. Mr. Brenner, I do not know if he got COVID or not, but that's beside the point. But there was a national disaster that could be used to waive it. I'm just asking that the Franchise Tax Board or the appeals court might look down and they have the power to abate it. I admitted that there was an error on it, and that was my error. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Panel members, do you have any questions for respondent, Judge Stanley?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Hearing Officer Elson?
I do not have any questions. Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna leave the record open and allow you to submit some more additional briefing, Mr. Simpson, on when that income was received and I guess 5805 using the annualized income installment method.
And where should I send that?
You should submit it to OTA.
To you?
Yes, and we will provide a copy to FTB. I'll send an order out, additional briefing order after this hearing.
Okay.
And after we get that from you, we'll allow FTB about 30 days to respond to see if that penalty amount should be calculated. Okay.
If I might ask, I have got all the Franchise Tax Board notices, and some of them are unclear where they made their adjustment, how they arrived at it, and I have trouble following all the penalties that they assessed on all the things that they had sent my client, and he forwarded me basically all his notices. But trying to calculate how the Franchise Tax Board came up with all of them gets a little confusing.
You're talking about the 2019 tax year?
Yeah, I mean, there's a notice here dated 5/3/22, and it's balance a summary, but it just says total outstanding liability. It doesn't have any penalty codes where it came from. We've had several of these collection fees. There was one that had an adjustment that was sent out on April 27, 22, and they have adjustment of $2,117. I have no idea of where that calculation came from, and there was money that was taken out of his bank account, and I know how much it was, but I don't know where it was applied to. And then another letter of 8/3/2020, just coming up with a liability of a balance due at 2901.23 with no codes, no nothing. And so it's very hard to try to.
Okay. I'm not sure which exhibits. Are you referring to an exhibit in the file?
This one was this was a state income tax balance due notice that the Franchise Tax Board sent out on August 18th, 2020. It doesn't refer to any year in particular, and it just has an amount of 2901, and yet we're trying to decipher.
Yeah, I don't think that that notice is in the record.
Okay, I thought I had sent
Yeah,
everything
we
that.
have a September 28, 2020 notice, and that indicates penalty code of C.
This one was 8/3 of 2020.
Yeah, it's not in the record. I don't see it.
Okay. I can resubmit that too. So I don't know if that's for the 2019 tax. It says other liability code C. That's a dishonored payment. They
okay.
were. That seems an awful lot of money if they got their money on time to hit with a dishonored check when they got paid timely.
All right. I don't think that is part of
That
the
would
issue on appeal here. And
Okay.
I don't see what documents you're referring to. But I will send out an additional briefing order after this hearing, asking you for more information to show that the amount of the penalty should be adjusted.
Okay.
And just wait for that. And once you respond, FTB will have an opportunity to respond. And once after additional briefing has concluded, OTA will close the record, and we will issue a written opinion within 100 days of closing the record. So, all right, I think that concludes the hearing for today. And I think that's the last hearing on the calendar. So the hearing is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.